GMC World of Skiing, presented by Columbia Sportswear, is sponsored by GMC, proud supporter of the Canadian Alpine Ski Team and Canada's Olympic Alpine hopefuls. Columbia Sportswear, gear for the great outdoors. Canada Post and the Canada Post Freestyle Ski Team. And by WestJet, friends and supporters of Canada's Alpine Ski Team. This week, we go off-piste in historic La Grave, France. On the Race Report, meet World Cup star and Olympian Eric Gay and how to improve your stance on this week's personal performance tip.
La Grave. It's a timeless town in the French Alps. These buildings have been here for hundreds of years. And there's a gondola here too, but that's only been since the 1970s. And it's not just any kind of gondola. It's a gondola that takes you up to the top of a completely uncontrolled mountain, drops you off, and lets you find your way down. And that's why people come here, to pit themselves against that little challenge, getting from the top to the bottom with no real routes to follow.
When exploring the terrain of La Grave, you're not in a typical ski resort. This is a real mountain environment, and for adventure addicts, La Grave is one of the most challenging and beautiful off-piste ski areas in the world. Ski at your own risk takes on a whole new meaning in La Grave. A 30-minute gondola ride takes you to 7,000 vertical feet of backcountry terrain, and a typical run might include traversing crevasses or rappelling into rocky couloirs piled with fresh powder. It's no wonder why most visitors to La Grave choose to ski with a guide.
A special thing about La Grave to me is it's an eerie area that is totally different from anywhere else I've ever been. Ski culture is totally different. It's not rah-rah free ride, shred the hardest lines the fastest, catch the biggest stairs. It's more about skiing smart and respecting the mountain and getting down to the bottom safely.
We're in La Grave, France, in the Haute-Savoie. It's an amazing place, known for its ski sauvage. So basically there's one gondola that goes to the top, and you get there and basically no grooming, no avalanche control, just make your own way down, and it's phenomenal, it's great.
We arrived yesterday night, flew over from Whistler, BC, and just a chance to check out one of our favorite spots. We've got a busy trip. We have a writer and a photographer. Les Anthony is the writer and Paul Morrison is the photographer. And me and Steve and Chad will be bouncing around between them and getting some stuff done for both of them. We made a few turns and it looks like we just missed a bit of snow that happened last week.
The snowpack is great. A lot of the couloirs and chutes that we've seen in the past are very nicely filled in. On the other hand, it warmed up about 5 days ago, and it's gone into a bit of a, I guess the wind's picked up as well, so they call it here a negative storm, in that rather than gaining snow, you actually lose snow. It ends up on the other side of the mountain. And unfortunately, the snow could have been a little better, a little grippy, a little grabby. But, you know, we made the best. I got to see some great scenery. Just anytime you're looking up at huge ice falls and La Meige and big glaciers sticking out of the snow, it's always enjoyable to see.
The vibe in La Grave is pretty unique as well. It's different than what I'm used to. It doesn't seem to be just all skiing and everything's new and lots of fancy restaurants. It is what it is. You have a couple hotels and a couple bars and some places to buy bread and cheese and a few ski shops, and that's about it.
Pretty interesting story is that the mayor decides every day whether or not they're going to open up the resort. So the three lead guides from each of the respective guide companies goes up in the morning, they check out the terrain, and then they come down, they confer, and they let the mayor know whether he's going to open up the resort or not. La Grave isn't for everybody. Some people, if you're expecting a wild nightlife, it's not for you. If you're expecting perfectly manicured groomed runs, it's probably not for you either. But if you're gonna come embrace the mountain culture and also be able to, you know, go outside your comfort zone, it's probably gonna be a life-changing experience. We had an unfortunate incident happen today, fifth turn skiing in Europe, and Chad Hendren had his brake catch in his ski pant, and he just went down for a silly little fall, but tweaked his knee a little and he had to bail out a little early.
I did ski out early and I downloaded from P1, and I waited at the base of the mountain for the crew to show up. And then we went and had a beer, and in that time of myself being alone, I had some time to test out my knee and give it some stress tests, and I feel that it is much worse and definitely needs surgery. We had a beer and we had a quick chit chat at the bottom of the hill towards the end of the day, and decided that I'm gonna try and get out of town as quick as possible so I can get this taken care of. Well, we're definitely making the best of the circumstances that happened today, and Paul actually brought down a couple pieces of the glacier, some broken serac, and about 10-12 pounds worth. Then we chopped them up and made martinis out of them, so that was pretty cool. Drinking a 2 million-year-old martini is pretty special for sure.
Could be the Pliocene glacial epoch.